4 or 5 years ago, we were at a gymnastics studio. I did a front flip thinking I'm a gymnast, and I ended up like hyperextending my back. I did a front squat the next day, and I just felt like a sharp pain in my back, and I couldn't get up from the squat. I did, because I had to get out, but I couldn't get back up if I was on the floor. And I felt that was going to be like, okay, this is it. I'm going to feel this for the rest of my life. Like, this sucks. And I think I've had a conversation with almost at least half of you talking about that same exact pain where you cannot get up and you can't even like go to the bathroom without pain. It took me years to realize that it's I have to work on flexibility, mobility, and then my strength. Since really focusing on that, I've been able to stay away from my back pain. And when I do feel it coming on, I look to see what could have caused it. And we'll talk more about that in like a couple minutes. But I just want to tell you my backstory with back pain and why I'm here telling you guys about it, because I feel like that is a very common injury. Like, my back hurts. Something happened with my back. But we'll come to realize that it's actually might not be your back. Could be something else. Okay? So, I love being able to help people. I've helped a handful of people get out of back pain, and going from, I couldn't snatch without pain to like I'm able to live my life outside of the gym without pain and, like just sleep. I'm able to sleep without pain. So if I can give you guys like 1 or 2 tips for that, like I'd be stoked. But it definitely takes more than a clinic for that, okay? So I want to know what your name is and what is the movement that you feel like causes you pain. You're like, oh, this is a movement where I injured myself and now I'm afraid of it. We'll start with you.
No pressure. I'm Kristen, and I don't know that I have like a specific movement.
Okay.
So I had back surgery a couple years ago because I broke a piece of my disc off.
Okay.
And so now I'm definitely like stretching and like even tying my shoes. I feel that.
Like a pull tension, okay. Okay. So like just back surgery and then just kind of losing that range of motion through there. Okay. Good to know. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it.
Deadlifts and snatches.
Okay. What's your name? I was just taking a wild guess. You, sir. Okay. Specific.
I'm Whitney. I originally tweaked it doing deadlift.
Okay. Okay, so any hinge. Repetitive hinging. Okay. Burpees, yeah. Burpees? Yeah. Oh, yes, yeah. So more specifically, like dumbbell snatches. Okay.
Usually does not hurt here.
Okay.
It hurts, my mid-back hurts from work.
Okay.
So I usually don't have that from work. I just lay down.
You said rowing?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
My name is Jessica. I remember I first tweaked my back doing back squats.
Okay.
And there was pain for a couple years, and it has subsided since then. But now when I do a lot of deadlifts, or I feel a little bit on my lower back.
Okay.
And I'm afraid to go higher up in weight in back squats because of the fear of injury.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right.
My name is Rory. I kind of grew up with like rough posture
Okay.
already, and then I do a lot of driving, so that doesn't help it at all.
Okay.
I have a lot of lower back.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. So driving in posture. Cool. All right, so we're all dealing with something a little different, but there's something related, and that's the hinge, it seems like. So we'll probably really emphasize on the hinge today, but we have to have an important conversation with ourselves. I'm going to have a big conversation with you guys, and then you guys have to think about, kind of check yourselves while I have this conversation with you. And that is the load versus capacity talk. So this is going to be our line of capacity for the day. All right. So we all come into the day with an anatomical defect. I'll use Kristen for example. So we had back surgery, right? So this isn't going to change. It's always going to be the same, right? She has a pre-existing condition. All right. Let me rewind really quick. A lot of the people think that when they injure themselves, they think like, oh, it was wall ball number 76 out of the 100 that did me in. That's what injured my back. Or it was the last snatch in my workout, or it was the last 2 deadlifts of my workout. That's the one that messed me up. But it's like, all related to drinking. Like you're drinking, let's say 10 beers, and you're feeling good, and you take a shot of tequila. You're like, oh, it was definitely the tequila. But you have to think, like, what else did I have going on that could have actually really put me over the edge? The tequila is more like the tipping point, but you have to look at your pre-existing conditions. Okay, so fast forward into this. Anatomical defect, that is something that prior injury, surgery, we cannot change that. That will always stay the same, okay? And then we have our stress, diet, sleep. Okay, this is a pre-existing condition, but that box is going to be a little bit more fluid, okay? So if we really wanted to, we can really focus on our recovery. So sleep, how are you sleeping? How's your diet? Are you eating whole foods? And how's your stress? How are you managing your stress? A lot of people tend to hold it up here and down here, okay? And then we have a functional diagnosis. So this is going to be like anything, like an imbalance. An imbalance, or you get pain when you do a snatch at a certain weight, but more likely like an imbalance, mobility, flexibility, all right? These are going to be pre-existing conditions. You guys get the point. Okay, and then we have everything that we do that we need and want to do, which is we got to drive to work, we got to be at work, we drive to the gym, we do our deadlifts at like 70%, but then once I get to like, let's say 80%, I'm over my line of capacity, right? So these are our wants and needs, right? This is going to be, I love working out. I need to work. I need to drive to work, right? We don't want to take something out of here to make this smaller, right? We want to try to fix one of these 3 boxes. These are going to be, at least these 2 are going to be a little bit more fluid. Okay, so like I mentioned before, anatomical defect is going to change, is going to stay the same. Stress, diet, sleep. Let's say we're like, okay, my goal this week is to sleep 8 hours, eat whole foods, and go to yoga to manage my stress, or meditate. Now that box just went from here to down here. And now your functional diagnosis, let's say you're working on your imbalances, also decreased by half. Okay, so now we are driving to work, at work, driving home from work, doing our deadlift, 75% our deadlift. We're snatching now. You have a lot more room to kind of push yourself, right? So you guys have to think about, let's think at when we injured ourselves. or more recently, not your original injury, but like a minor injury, like, oh, I felt it in my back. Okay, how was your day going that day? Was it stressful? Did you sleep well? Did you not eat so great? I can think back at a time when it was my birthday weekend. I didn't sleep great. I had a lot of great food. I drank a little bit too much, and then the next Monday or Tuesday, I definitely felt it in my back, and I hadn't felt it in like 2 years. So I had to think like, okay, this is something that I really need to take control of, and I want to make sure that I am purposely focusing on recovery so I can have more room to do things that I love to do. Okay, so if we keep hanging out here at our line of capacity, then this line is slowly going to make its way up. And you could start maybe competing if you wanted to, or getting more comfortable holding that 80%, 90% deadlift or snatch, and then possibly PRing. But most importantly, focusing on getting confident hanging out at your line of capacity and lower, and focusing on your recovery. Yeah. Does anybody feel like they can look back at the day they injured themselves and think like, oh yeah, I definitely could have adjusted some things for that day? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes we put too much on ourselves, right? I'm one of them. So we really have to have that conversation. And Erica, that was a really great, I love that you're like, when my back hurts, I don't go in. That's amazing. That's a lot of self-restraint, which it's really hard to do, but amazing work. But remember this conversation and just be very mindful of your recovery, your stress, your diet, and if you have any imbalances, what they might look like, okay? Any questions on this? Cool. Whose first time is it who's hearing this for the first time? Okay, cool. Just remember it. Maybe we'll talk about it more and more and more. All right, I don't have an eraser. Cool. So, all right. Awesome. So, we're going to go into some movement screening now, okay? So with this movement screening, 2, 4, 6, 8, perfect. We're going to go ahead and partner up. Not yet, but I'm going to tell you what these movement screenings are. We're first going to focus on ankle dorsiflexion. So what we're going to be testing right now is flexibility in our movement, maybe some mobility later, and then we're going to do a little workout. But it's all, you're not going to sweat too much, maybe. But that way we know what we could do later on if we feel like it's a strength issue, okay? So ankle dorsiflexion, that's going to look like, we're going to go ahead and, we may have done this in the class before, but you're going to start with your toe barefoot on the rig, send your knee forward, take an inch back, send your knee forward. You're trying to go as far back as you can. As soon as your heel comes up, that test is terminated. Okay, so we're going to measure the distance between your toe and the rig, seeing if there's any pain. If so, where? No pain, full range of motion, green light. Short, no pain, yellow. Full, with pain, yellow. Short, painful, red. Okay, everybody's going to have a movement screening sheet to write down their answers and a pen. And you're going to have a partner to help measure the distance. Okay, that way we can all figure out how to do this together and run the test on our own too if we feel like we've been working on our ankle dorsiflexion. So that's the first one we're going to do right now. So what I want you guys to do is grab a sheet, write your name, your goal for this workshop. There you go. Oh, pen. Actually, yeah, good. Pass it down. Yeah, that's way easier. There you go. Pen and paper and pass it down. I'm looking for the measuring tape. It was over there yesterday? Okay. Ah, perfect. All right, so write your name down. Again, the first one's going to be ankle dorsiflexion. So what I want you guys to do is we set up tape on this rig, and that rig we have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. Perfect. So I'm going to have 2 groups lined up along this rig. The next group will be right next to them. I'm going to give the next group measuring tape. That way you guys can measure your ankle dorsiflexion. Okay, so we could see what could be causing this low back pain. Yes, barefoot if you can. Okay. Does everybody have matching socks? Just kidding. All right. Cool. So grab a partner. All right. So this tape right here, the inside of the tape on these 2 rigs is, inside of the tape is 4 inches, outside of the tape is 5 inches. So I want you guys to kind of guesstimate from here to here. So this is probably 1 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches. If you are still passing your test past the 5-inch mark, you can go as far as you want, really, but don't go to a point where you injure yourself. Again, I want you guys to let me know if there's pain, where there's pain, and write that down, okay? And then we'll kind of go over it together to see if there was some similarities between all of us, okay? Anywhere. Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and, if you don't have a tape, we have measuring tape. So 2 groups over here, or 1 group right here, 1 group right here. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so I want your, should be knee over toe. Right, so as far back as you can. Ooh, now this is a good ankle for me. Not the best. Okay, but yeah, knee tracing over your toe if you can. All right, so go ahead and try that out. Right, left, right leg, left leg, and then you'll switch. Do you have a partner? Oh, perfect. Here you go. I don't know if you guys wanted to just use a measuring tape.
The goal, the best case scenario is passing the range of motion test.
Yes. Is your heel coming up? No, that's really good. Nice. Yeah. It's about 5 inches. Yeah. 5 on the right, 5 on the left. Okay. Okay.
That's probably not great. 3.5 on the left.
Okay. That's good. Okay, heel's coming up there. So get a little bit closer now to get a, you feel pain or tightness? Okay. Tightness is just a feeling, like it's a sensation, right? If you feel pain, then you want to write that down. But if it's tightness, I wouldn't be too worried about it.
You were thinking it was going to be good now. Well, that's, I have
So big difference there?
well, the funny thing is the leg with nerve damage is better.
Do you focus a lot on
Probably.
that?
It's on my dominant leg,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you tend to favor it with anything, yeah. But it could mean that it's also taking on too much load,
yeah.
right? Bye, see you later. Pretty good, Rory. Tighter on the left. And where do you tend to have your back pain? More on one side than the other?
Not that I've noticed.
Okay. Eric, how do we do?
I just said 6 on the right, 5 on the left.
Okay.
I knew it.
I know I definitely have one ankle that's a little bit rough. All right, how do we do?
5 inches, but
Nice.
yeah, I need to work on my flexibility just a little bit.
Okay. All right, 5 and 5. There you go. Okay. Was there any pain through this movement for anyone? Any pain? Awesome.
Not my back.
And your knees. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll do another test that might also help with that. Okay. Awesome. So I would say everybody, maybe one yellow light and then green lights. Cool. So we're kind of working from the root up. So now we're going to go ahead and go into, this one's pretty easy, standing lumbo-pelvic flexion. So again, bare feet, feet together, lock out those knees, and I'm just going to go ahead and go as low as I can. If you are touching the ground with no pain, green light. Short with no pain, yellow. Yeah, just touch. Yeah. Make sure those knees are locked out. There you go. If there's pain, please write that down in your, go ahead and come on up. I want the knees as straight as possible, yeah. All right, Rory, let's see how far we are from the floor. It's about 10 inches. Okay, go ahead and write that down in your notes. All right. Good. Touching the floor. Okay, yeah.
I think it's just
Tightness?
feel the tightness in the
Yes.
legs.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, so tightness in the hamstrings is normal. If it's behind the calves, could be related to sciatic nerve issue. If it's on one side, more than likely it's sciatic nerve, but that's something that we can also get into a little bit later. But no pain? Dad?
Just tight here.
Tighten the back? Okay. All right. This next one is going to be supine hip flexion. So with this one, Jess, if I can have you lay down. I want you guys to relax as much as you can. Let your partner do all the work, but you're going to go ahead and let your partner bring the leg up, lightly press on the knee. Oh, okay. So what we're trying to get to is the knee to the chest, okay? So there's a little bit of limited range of motion here. So this is going to be slot 1. Okay, slot 2 is going to be almost right below her shoulder. Then slot 3 will be outside of her shoulder. Any pain? Okay. So after each slot, just check in with your partner. Pain? Yes or no? That way, when they write it down in their notes, they're aware.
So 1 is midline or
Right at the chest. Chest, shoulders, yeah.
just shoulder outside?
Exactly, yeah. So check in with your partners, seeing if there is pain or no pain. And again, I want you guys to make sure that the knee, if the knee touches the chest, that is full range of motion. Okay? So we're a little short there. Short with no pain. So make sure we do the other side too with your partner. Yeah, go ahead and write that down.
It's at a 90 degree, you said? Like this?
Yeah, so here, here, and there. Okay? Awesome. Beautiful. Yeah. Good job. Okay. Yeah, we like to check all 3 slots because everybody does have different squats. So usually the second slot is what everybody's most familiar with. Nice. Okay. Good. Was your knee to your chest or your?
Oh, am I supposed to push like all the way up?
No, you don't want to like force it, right? Just as far as you could go. Yeah, that's passing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Was there a pain in the hip? Okay. Make sure you write slot 1, pain in hip. Good? Okay. Yep, just as far as you could go. Try not to push it too much. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Just like tight this like right here. Just
Okay.
stretching, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Good. All right. Cool. So write down in your notes what exactly you found. No issues, just write green light. If there were some issues, just kind of write it down for yourself. Like knee was right above my hip, meaning it was short. If your thigh was touching your chest, that's a green light. Then we'll get into the next one. What are you doing right now? I erased it. Oh, close. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So that was under the pre-existing conditions, like what you walk into your day with, right? So if you guys can fix this, this also can make that box smaller. Okay, this next one, pretty simple. You don't need a partner for this. But you're gonna go ahead and knees together and sit on your heels. If you cannot, then we are short. There you go. Any pain in the knees? If so, write that down. Any pain in the back, write that down. But we shouldn't have space between our ankle and the floor. You have space? That's okay. So if you have space, write that down. What was that? You're cramping? Okay. Oh, because you're flexing. Okay. So write down whether we're passing or not. But this is letting me know that we could probably move on into that next test. Okay, so this next test is going to be a prone heel to butt. If we had some pain here, we'd probably just keep it here because the next one is going to lengthen up the hip flexors a little bit more. Or lengthen up the hip flexors. All right, just come on over. Lay on your stomach, sorry. There you go. So, with this one, we want to make sure that she's relaxed. Relax that whole leg. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up her ankle, kind of press into the ankle. And what I don't want to see is her back start to buckle up. Okay, so make sure the back doesn't buckle up, which she doesn't. And she's about 2 inches away from her butt on her right leg. So let's go into the left. And about the same. So that's a good thing. So it's short with no pain.
No pain. I mean, I felt something when you did it.
Okay.
But it wasn't like painful, but I did feel something.
Okay. So definitely write that down, what exactly you felt. So if there was pain, let us know what it was, or write that down in the notes for yourself. And then we'll go over what everything means after this. Okay, so let's go ahead and lay on the floor and have your partners run that test. Oh. It fell. No pain? Good. That's about, let me go check. Let me grab the measuring tape. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna touch your glutes. 11 inches. On your right, was there pain? Okay. And about 10 and a half on the left. Okay. Okay. Can you guesstimate like the how far away he was from his glutes?
No, he touched right away.
Oh, okay. That's good. There you go. All right. Once we've completed all of our tests, we can sit down. Just looking over my notes. All right. Wait for everybody to finish up. All right. So we'll go over ankle dorsiflexion first. So was anybody short on the ankle dorsiflexion? Okay. So, and then this is just for everybody to know. That way we can continue working on our ankle dorsiflexion. We don't want to ignore it. A lot of times when it's short without pain, that could increase to anterior hip pain. Because a lot of the times, if you're squatting and you're starting to bring those heels up, you're going to start to feel a little bit of a pinch through here because it's really putting a lot of the load in the hip, also in the knee. Okay? Not only that, but now my torso is more stacked and it's going to put a lot more weight on my back. So not only can a short ankle dorsiflexion create hip pain, but also back pain in the future if we don't take care of it. Okay, so always focus on, don't stop working on your ankle dorsiflexion. If you're like, I don't want to keep stretching it, just do a lot of just holds in that bottom position, focusing on active range of motion, which is what? Flexibility or mobility? What was that? Heck yeah. Yeah. Okay. Talked about it in class a couple times. Flexibility is passive range of motion, which is what you just assessed with your partner. Mobility would be the active range of motion. Okay, easiest way to remember this. Flexibility, mobility. This is as far as I can go with my finger, okay? Cool. Was there anybody that had full range of motion with pain in the ankle dorsiflexion? Okay, this is the knee, right? Yeah. For a lot of the times, more specifically with you, it's a mobility, right? So creating more tension at the bottom of the squat, okay, because we're hypermobile, and I think we've been getting better and better, but that's going to be a strength issue, okay? So keep that in mind, and we can always talk if you have a little bit more time after the clinic. Cool, supine hip flexion. That's when you're laying down on your back, your partner pressed your knee into your chest. Who was short without pain?
By short, do you mean not reaching?
Correct.
Short without?
Yes. Okay, yeah. So if we don't focus on this, this can lead to back pain and hip pain. Okay? So meaning we're going a lot of the times probably just right around here. Okay? So it's putting a lot of stress on the front of the hip, but also my back. And it could also affect that ankle dorsiflexion later on in the future. Okay, but I'm going to give you guys drills for this right after I'm done with this. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. So those of you guys who were short in the supine hip flexion, I'm really excited to give you guys these simple drills that you guys can do anywhere. Okay. Any full with pain? I think we're good, right? Awesome. Cool. You guys are crushing it. Okay, my favorite one is the standing level pelvic flexion, aka the toe touch. Okay, who was short with no pain? Okay? Yeah. Okay, cool. Anybody else short? Everybody else is touching the floor? Nice. Good job, you guys. On that. With that, Rory, we really need to focus on, which we've addressed before, is the hamstring. So I'm going to give everybody, again, the skills and the drills to kind of help you lengthen up the hamstrings a little bit more, and drills to do outside of the gym, because you drive a lot. Full, not painful, but with pain in the past. Raise your hand. For the toe touch, yep. Yeah, okay. So a lot of the times, we could be overextending our back in the deadlift, in the kettlebell swing, and I talked about this yesterday in my classes. Okay, so instead of being braced and then hinging, a lot of the times we're just sticking our butt out, right? So now I'm contracting that low back, which over time is going to get fatigued, okay? So something I need to work on is strengthening up your core, all right? So that's what we're gonna do later on. Not only that, but it's whenever there's like a deadlift day, if we can come to a class when there isn't as many people, because then we can really address I can coach a little bit more, or it's also a great time to do one-on-one training, right? Strengthening up the deadlift or the hinge or your core. That way we can get confident in that range of motion or in that lift, because that's most of what our issues can be, is the confidence behind the lift too. Like, I don't trust myself to do a deadlift day. I want you to be able to trust yourself. I want to give you the tools to have confidence in the deadlift, in the snatch, and whatever you're doing. Okay? Cool. Then we did kneeling heel to butt, which was good. Prone, heel to butt. Any pain? Short and painful? Short and painful? Okay. Where did you feel the pain? Into your low back? Okay, cool. But your supine hip flexion was short? Okay. Okay. And then you said you get pain in your burpees when you come out? Okay. All right, yeah. A lot of the times, making sure, like, again, if we're sitting down a lot, shortening up the hips. I feel like the drills I gave you for the supine hip flexion can really help. It's a very simple drill. I like to do a lot more dynamic warm-ups as opposed to like static. That way the hips are warmed up and we feel a little bit more confident, and also a little core warm-up too. Getting your body prepped, okay? Did I miss anybody?
Supine hip flexion for me was short and
Supine hip flexion. Okay, yeah, we'll go into, okay, yeah, so I'll give you the drills for that as well. Cool, awesome. So, interventions for the ankle dorsiflexion. So if we're short, my favorite drill, which we do a lot of the times in classes, is the eccentric ankle dorsiflexion. So I want everybody to grab a set of plates, maybe 15s. It's probably a good amount of height for that. A set of 15s, and then just stack them on top of each other. see. We'll see if you get the stretch. All right. Okay, yeah, let me know if you need them. So, with this, if you guys feel comfortable, you guys can leave your shoes off. I don't know if you'll get the same stretch. Let me try it out. You'll be fine. So, what I want you guys to do is you're going to come up on your toes, let that heel drop, get that nice stretch in your calves just to lengthen up those calves to increase that ankle dorsiflexion over time. I want to see 10 of those on each side. Good. Try to go as slow as you can and a little bit lower if you can, Leslie. Nice. And you don't have to speed through this. We are doing calf raises, but we're thinking about lengthening up the calves through there. Nice job. How's that feel on the left? It's tight. Okay.
It's definitely tight.
Yeah, so I want you to try to do this like if you're able to come into class a little bit earlier, as early as 5 can get. But just so you can get that stretch in, or like in between warm-ups or whenever like we're talking, just grab a pair of plates. Yeah, sometimes I'll like grab a pair of plates or I'll like use a platform and I'll just like do a heel drop or I'll use like the rig. And I do this almost every day and I notice a big difference in my squat. And especially during the stay-at-home order, I did this every day and I just felt better and better because there wasn't much I could do but really focus on range of motion. Awesome. Once we've done about 10 of those, I want you guys to go ahead and grab one of these green bands or blue. There's 9 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Ooh, good. Thank you. Yeah, you want to do green first and then, okay. Oh, well. Doesn't matter, yeah. All right, we're going to put this on the lower part of the rig. Yep. All right, we're going to place our ankle in the band. The band's going to be right behind the tongue of the shoe if you had a shoe on. But you're going to go ahead and take a step forward. You're going to be in a split stance, banded foot back, driving your knee as far forward as you can while keeping that heel down for about 10 reps, and then we'll switch. And these are very simple movements that we could do at the gym before we work out, at home. If you don't have a band, you can always use like some sort of weight, a heavy water bottle, a heavy book, a child in a seated position. There you go. And then just try to go, yep, extend and bend. Nice. And making this a little bit more dynamic through there. Good. Once you've done 10 on one side, make sure you guys switch. There you go. Nice job, you guys. Okay, after you're 10, I want you guys to bring the racks down to right about hip height or like one hole lower. Okay, so either hip height or one hole lower, and then you're gonna put the band across the rig. Okay, so both racks down, and go ahead and stretch the band across that rack. You guys can share with the partner if you want. should be good. Ooh. That good? Is that even? All right. Yeah. All right, you guys don't need to like wrap the band completely, just put it on the racks. So make sure you do the other side, Rory. So you want to do the other side as well.
Oh, okay.
No, you're good. Maybe a little bit lower for you. Yeah. You're gonna see what we're gonna be doing with this.
One more lower?
Like right about here. One more lower, I think, yeah. No, that's perfect. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do next is for our supine hip flexion. So if we've noticed that we were a little short, this can help increase mobility. So if you feel like it could be a mobility issue, we could do that. It also helps with flexibility, although it's not very passive. I like it because it really helps strengthen up my hips and warm up my hips. So what I'm going to try to do is pick up my knee, take a step over, and the other side. So it's focusing on mobility, but also balance, right? Because we're hanging out on that single foot for quite some time. So Eric, maybe one lower or two. I want to see 20 lateral banded step overs. I think it's uneven? One. Yeah, so we'll bring this one down. I was like, I think it is. Try it out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good, yes, I want you to think like knee up and then over. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Oh, don't hit yourself. There you go, you guys. Nice job. Beautiful. Okay, so something super simple. Doesn't need to be too technical or too confusing. It's one of, instead of doing like the high knees or the karaoke's, making it super complicated, you could do this and it does just as, I mean, probably a little bit better than our high knee karaoke's. Okay? That also leads into like hip cars. If you really wanted to focus on like mobility, hip cars meaning controlled articular rotations. I want everybody to try this out really quick because it is very eye-opening. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold on to the rig and you're gonna keep your whole body contracted. From here, you're gonna lift up your knee. I'm squeezing my entire body. Open the latch or open the hip, turn the knob, kick back, and back up. Okay, so really focusing on tension through the body to, again, warm up the hip, but also hopefully increase range of motion through there. But I want you guys to be squeezing your entire body. So high knee, open the door, turn the latch. Oh, yeah. And then you're gonna kick back. Very eye-opening, right? Like, dang, I really need to focus on that internal rotation of my hip. So if we're having trouble with that internal rotation, we gotta do a lot more hip work. 90-90s that we've been doing in classes. 90-90 hip switch. I don't want you to cramp up, but yeah. Something that we need to do more often is definitely controlled articular rotations. It's a perfect way to warm up the hips. There you go. So try not to like lean straight as we can. Yeah. Yeah, and by holding onto the rig, it prevents you from like leaning to one side because a lot of people want to lean to one side when they do this. I want you guys to stay as... Okay, pain? Okay, I want you to squeeze a little bit more, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. Just got to increase blood flow through there. Okay, are you really focusing on squeezing, squeezing, squeezing? I want you to squeeze like, you think you're squeezing now, I want you to squeeze even more. Pain? Okay. Okay, relax, yeah. We don't want to push it too much. Yeah. Okay, all right. So some more drills for that. For the supine hip flexion, we have going into standing lumbo-pelvic flexion, which is the toe touch. I want everybody to just start off with hinging. Okay, I feel like hinging a lot of the times, you just kind of let yourself go forward. I want you guys to really focus on trying to get your glutes to the rig, right? As soon as your glutes touch the rig, we come up. You don't want to bend even more from here, which a lot of people tend to do. It should just be hips back as far as we can, and then squeeze through. Just to really focus on the tension in the hamstrings, squeezing your core. Hey, you're all right, yep, and come up. So take a baby step forward if you feel like that was too easy, good. Bend the knee slightly. Good, and hips back, 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 back. Okay, and come on up. Yeah, so slowly increase that. So if you're like, okay, this is starting to feel good, I'm gonna increase the intensity, put on a little bit of weight, right? But for now, I want you to really focus on trying to lengthen up the hamstrings with just your body weight, and then we can increase it with some weight. But most of the time, I think in class we've been doing like elevated deadlifts. We'll continue to do that until we feel a little bit more confident in our full range of motion in that standing lumbo-pelvic flexion. Okay? Good. Erica, how's that feel? Good. Wit. Okay, cool. Leslie, what do we need to focus on? Our hinge. There you go. So hips back, 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 and then we're going to come on up and have a slight bend. Your deadlifts look good yesterday, though. Okay, so you're really focusing on core tension. Yep. All right. Okay. Okay. Dad, same with you. So yeah, with a couple of you guys, I see you're like, all right, my hips can't go anymore. I got to start bending through my back. Right? You can actually send your hips back and drop the hips down. Let's say you were doing a deadlift if needed, as long as you can maintain this position, right? What I don't want to see is, oh, I got to get closer to the floor. Okay? Only go as far back as your hips allow you, and bend your knees as needed. We should do a one-on-one, Dad. You and baby Benny. Got to work on my siblings and my dad. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Again, if you feel like, I need to know more, right? This is where you guys book the one-on-ones, because there's so much information that I could give you, but there's so much information to be given in an hour. Okay? So we could talk after class if you guys wanted to start that up. We're going to do one more drill. And that's going to go ahead and be core strength. Okay? So what we're going to do is just 5 minutes of learning how to breathe through tension. Okay? So, yeah. We're going to learn, we're going to get really good at it. Because that's something I get often is like, I don't know how to breathe and like stay tight. Okay? Well, we're going to do that right now. So, in 5 minutes, it's going to be an AMRAP. 5 minutes of quality. Not like 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to do dead bug. Hold for 3 breaths, or 3 breath hold, meaning really focusing on tension through there, and then I'll switch. Right? It shouldn't be I'm holding the tension the entire time, and then I'll come up. The next will be my thing here, side plank hold. Hips down, come up. We'll do the other side. You'll do that for 5 reps. And then bird dog for a 3-breath hold. And focusing on that tension to help with what could be weakness in the core. Okay, and learning how to breathe through tension. Okay? Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, so again, 5 dead bugs per side, 3 breaths to 5 breaths. Okay? Yep. And then side plank hold, 5, 3 breath, 5 breath hold, switch, same thing with the bird dogs. All right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get on our backs. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. So starting with that dead bug. There you go. So I want this arm out. There you go. Good.
Like straight up.
Yep. So you see how there's that space there?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Good. Yep. So you want to hold that for, I actually want you to breathe through that tension. Nice. Good. Actively press through. There you go. Nice. I should hear you breathing. I want you guys to exaggerate your breath. That way I know you're breathing. Good. Feel that space there? Go ahead and press into my hand a little bit more. There you go. Yeah, it's, any pain?
No.
Cool. You're like, just core.
That's where I need the admin.
There you go. Much better. Nice work. Good. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna let you finish.
What?
Go ahead and come up. Both arms and legs up. Okay? There you go. Good. You guys get to switch when you guys finish your breaths. There you go.
Sides.
Yes. Yep. Once you're done with your reps, you guys can go into your side planks. And movement for quality is way different than an AMRAP, right? You really have to focus on being very intentional with the movements, which I want in the workout. Good. There you go. Good, you guys. Would you guys rather hold for seconds or hold for breaths? Now that you've done it for a little bit. Nothing?
Intention there, like doing that for breath.
Yeah, it's nice, right? Whereas like seconds, you're like, oh gosh, 30 seconds is almost up, right? You really have, you're in the moment and you're focusing on, it's almost like a form of meditation too. Yeah, totally. Doing this for breath is one of my favorite things. Nice wet. Would you like an ab mat, Erica? Okay. All right, we'll just do one full round of everything so everybody can get to every part. There you go. Good. How's that feel, Leslie? Good. Good job, you guys. So when we're here, stay nice and tight. Good. Good, keep that core engaged, nice. Nice, Whitney. Sure we're nice and engaged, good. Yeah, so try to bring this hip down, there you go, good. And try to lengthen instead of like reaching up as high as you can. There you go. Good, bring that left foot down, good. Good, Leslie. Try to like focus on squeezing through here a little bit more. How are you feeling, Kristen? Oh, okay. Just like a...
It's the leg and it's the nerve.
Okay.
And then
That's the side that you had the surgery on? Okay. There you go, you guys. Done? How'd that feel?
everything was good except for dogs for babies.
Okay. Just because it's uncomfortable?
Just like the leg in the air. It was like, the knee felt like unstable.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to set up a skill session together. Because I really want to pinpoint what's going on. That would be awesome. Yeah. All right. Awesome, you guys. Okay. There was so much information. Give it out. I hope you guys took away something from this. Whether it's like the load versus capacity talk. Like, oh, I just realized like I'm short in my supine hip flexion. And I didn't even realize that. Or, yeah. So focus, like doing these drills to help increase range of motion, flexibility, mobility. And some of you guys might realize like, dang, I'm not great at this core work. I'm not good at holding tension. I passed all my other tests. I think I need to focus on my core strength. All right, a lot of hold. Like Colby was saying, doing something for breaths is way different than doing something for seconds. So if like you're less confident here, well then maybe hold the barbell here for a couple of breaths, right? Creating more tension. Time under tension is gonna help build strength, okay? If you're like, well, none of this works for me, I tried everything. Well, you need to have a real conversation with yourself. What can I decrease in my load versus capacity or my pre-existing conditions that can help me feel better? All right. Hope you guys took something away from today. Thank you guys for coming. The paperwork is for you to keep, and you guys crushed it. Good job. You're welcome. Yeah, let's set up. Yeah, if you guys want to set up like a 30-minute session with me based on like the findings that we had, like you want a little bit more time, all you guys get a free skill session with me. I just book within the next 2 weeks. Okay?
What's a stretch or something to do, right? Because I can't sit back on my heels. Or is it just sit here and eventually get there?
So what I would do is like slowly increase the time.
Okay.
So maybe like 5 seconds, 3 times a day. 10 seconds, 3 times a day. Or sorry, 3 times a week. It's really up to you. But yeah, so far like that, I've been trying to like look up what else can help with a kneeling butt to heel. But I would try that a couple of times.
Okay.
But don't go to a point where it like increases your pain, right? Just, okay, I'm starting to feel as if it's going to cause pain, and then back off, okay? That way we can increase our strength in that position, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
My core strength is my problem.
Oh man, I love that. Like that drill is one of my favorites, and I forget to do it, and I need to do it more often.
I just get